Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and I'm back with another layout for Peartree Cutfiles, and I'm going back to an earlier release. So this file is from February and it's called Build a Floral Cluster, and you get those 5 separate flower clusters there. So I'm going to be creating a mixed media background today. I'm not really using any pattern papers or any particular collection at all to embellish. It's just largely going to be mixed media for this one. So I'm applying some colour to my background with a brayer. This is a purple tube of watercolour paint, and it's going on quite concentrated and thick because I'm not adding any water to it. I'm just applying it directly from the tube with the brayer. And then I have added some water now just so that I could add some splatters on top of that. But I've got a whole set of these tubes and they're really thick and concentrated, so great for getting some bold colour on the page. Obviously you can use them as watercolours if you want to add the water to them, but I very rarely do. I generally just apply them directly to my page. So once that's dry, I move on to the next kind of layer, if you like, of mixed media, which is my texture paste. So I wanted to use black, but I don't own a black texture paste. I always just colour my white one with black ink. So I've got a Ranger texture paste which I absolutely love, and I've used a black distress ink re-inker and just added 3 or 4 drops to colour that paste. And then I'm using a plastic palette knife just to push it through my stencil. This is a Tim Holtz stencil, it's one of my favourites, and I just love to use it just to add a bit here and there. No particular pattern, just so that it's going to show out from behind my photo and my embellishments and things. And then, very important thing, must clean my stencil. I've learnt the hard way not to leave them until the end of my creative process, because by that point it's too late. So I'm coming in with a black acrylic paint there. I've just watered it down to add some splatters. I prefer to use my acrylic paint for splatters rather than just using that distress re-inker, because I find that bleeds once, if it hits my background and I don't sort of soak up the excess straight away, I find it bleeds out, whereas the acrylic paint doesn't. It just makes nice splatters, so I much prefer to use that. Now my next kind of step in my mixed media is to add some colour through a stencil. So it's I think it's meant to be roses, this stencil, and I'm just using a distress ink in Dusty Concord, I think that's called, and a blending brush just to sort of rub that colour through the stencil in certain areas on my page. And I've got my cut files here. So like I said, this set you get 5 separate clusters, but I'm only going to be using 3 of them today. And off camera I've backed them with vellum, so it's really easy to do, and it'd be just as simple with pattern papers and things with these ones because they're such lovely files. I just applied wet glue to the back of the entire thing and then just stuck it down on the vellum and cut it out. Really simple but really effective. I love the way it looks on the page. So I'm also pulling in a few other random bits, if you like. I've got that favourite title, I think that's from Paige Evans' Bloom Street. So I'm going to be using that, and I think I used the heart and the butterfly that's with it as well. I've added some green netting to one side of my photo, along with some purple tissue paper. And I did consider that white pom-pom trim. I was going to use that Dusty Concord distress ink to colour it purple, but decided it wasn't really fitting for the layout. I didn't think it would work, just sort of look right. So I decided against that, and instead I've added a layer of Hessian behind my photo. Just brings that kind of rustic feel to the layout, like we were out in the woods, so it kind of reminds me of the woods Hessian, just kind of the colours and the texture of it, so I thought that would work really well with this layout. So I've just applied that with double-sided tape. I've also added some foam behind my photo just to raise it up and add a bit of dimension. And now I'm going to stick my cut files down, peeking out underneath my photo. So I've used wet glue for the bit that's going to be kind of tucked under the photo, and then the outer edges I've raised up on foam pads to bring in a bit more of that dimension. I've also got these 2 leaf clusters. They are from a stamp from a Vicky Boutin collection. I've just used black StazOn ink to stamp those out, and then I've cut them out. And they work perfectly for things like flowers and trees and outdoor sort of layouts. I'm really enjoying using those at the moment, so I'm going to paint those in a minute as well. So I've just got my title stuck down and that butterfly. I think the heart and the butterfly actually get moved several times by the end, but they're in situ for now. I've got these purple paper roses as well I considered using, but couldn't really find a nice place for them, so they got binned off as well. And then I've got these gorgeous butterflies from the new Vicky Booting Colour Study collection. I absolutely love these butterflies. I've bought 3 sheets of this paper just so I can use them as embellishments because they go with everything. They're awesome. They're black and white, so you could even colour them or paint them. But I thought they would work nicely on this layout because I've got that black texture paste in the background and there's some black tones in the photo as well, so I thought they would work well. Now I'm just painting those leaf stamps and painting the back of my layout as well because I managed to dip that in my paint. This is again that Dusty Concord Distress ink, so I've just applied that really roughly, leaving white spots on the leaves. I didn't want them too perfect. And now I'm coming in with a mica spray from Nuvo, and this is really sparkly and shiny. I love this stuff. So I've just added some splatters to my background and also just added some more of that colour to those leaf clusters. When that dries, that'll be kind of like a silvery shine to them, so I love those. And then these are Peartree Pieces. These are new to Peartree. I think the first release was in May this year. And Marie's going to be releasing some more each month, and these are lovely. I think this was the freebie set I got when I placed my first order, so I think they're called Etched Hearts if I remember rightly, and they're gorgeous little cork hearts with some etched details on. So I'm just going to add a few of those to my layout. I'm still trying to move that butterfly and heart around, trying to find a home for them. I think the butterfly stays and the heart gets vetoed in the end. But I'm just using glossy accents to stick those hearts down, just to make sure they hold on top of my texture paste, and then that's me done. So thank you very much for joining me today. It was a very quick layout from me, especially considering it's a mixed media layout. I'm always surprising myself with how long it takes me to do mixed media normally, but nice and quick today, and I love how this one has turned out with the monochrome look, just having the purple, black and white, really pretty layout. Thank you again for joining me. In the description box below I will leave a link to this cut file. I'll also leave a link to the Peartree Cutfiles Facebook group. If you're not already in the group, then do head over and join. We have monthly crops and weekly freebies, loads of inspiration, everyone's sharing their layouts, and you'll also get sneak peeks and things of all the upcoming new releases as well, so it's a lovely community to be a part of. But like I say, I'll leave details of that below. So thanks very much again, and I'll see you next time.